And here it is, the Sigma 150-600mm. In short, this is the best telephoto zoom lens I have ever used, and paired with the Panasonic S5, it makes for a phenomenal wildlife photography setup. Yes, that's right, you heard right, I use a Panasonic L-mount camera for wildlife photography. So for all 5 of us that photograph wildlife on the L-mount, this review is for you. For everyone else, if you're after a really great and affordable third-party telephoto zoom option, this review is also for you. So let's quickly get through the ergonomics of this lens. It's not too heavy, weighing in at around 2100 grams, with most of the weight coming from the tripod collar and the front lens elements. You'd think this would balance it out, but the front is a lot heavier than the back. Speaking of the tripod collar, it has a nice adjustable feature where it clicks into place when the lens is rotated, so allowing for no off angles when switching from landscape to portrait, which is pretty cool. The lens lock or torque dial on the side here has 3 settings: locked, semi-locked and unlocked. Semi-locked is good for when you're on the move or hiking. It does make it harder to zoom though, but there's no slippage. Zooming in general is very smooth, and this lens has the new push-pull zooming function. Instead of twisting the zoom ring, you can just grab the end of it and go to town. As this is a variable aperture lens, zooming changes the aperture from f5 at minimum zoom to f6.3 at max zoom. Moving to the assorted buttons here. Now there is the focus switch, switching from autofocus to manual focus, the focal distance switch, which has 3 settings, the lens stabilisation with 3 settings, and the custom modes. I personally don't use the custom modes, so won't be covering them. Lens stabilisation is really fantastic. There are 3 settings here. Mode 1 is full stabilisation, and Mode 2 is used to isolate either the vertical or horizontal sensors. So if you're panning, the stabilisation doesn't interfere with the pan. So there's no herky-jerky movement throughout your pan, which is very nice. Now, shooting video at 600mm handheld is kind of stupid, but the lens is consistent with its stability. Here it is on and off. With the autofocus, it's very snappy in photo mode on the S5, probably due to it being a native L-mount lens. Autofocus is also quiet, making it perfect for video. But in video mode, if I'm shooting in 60 frames per second in the 4K crop mode, I cannot autofocus if I'm already recording. Now this might be part user error and part Panasonic's autofocus, but in order for it to work, I need to focus first and then start recording. Sometimes that's easier said than done, but it's just impossible to readjust your focus when recording in 60p. Shooting in 25 frames per second full 4K, there's no issue, it's just in 60p. It's weird. Hopefully there's a firmware update that cracks the issue. The Sigma 150-600 is weather sealed against water and dust, making it perfect for some rough and tumble situations, within reason. Filter-wise, it will take any 95mm filter. Now the image quality, and I have to say, paired with the S5, this combination is the best setup I've used for wildlife in a while. The lens is extremely sharp, especially on the S5, and the color reproduction is just fantastic. Bokeh is quite lovely and smooth at f5 and at f6.3 when max zoomed. Sharpness may be best at f6.3, and to be honest, it's where I spend most of my time. The image quality and ergonomics make up for the strange autofocus quirks, but I have to say the autofocus in photo mode on the S5 is really fantastic. It's quick and tracks quite well. It's just the autofocus in video, while mostly affected by the camera's quirks, that's super frustrating, especially in 60p, but in general, the video autofocus is reasonably fast and tracks reasonably well when it does work. One good thing is that I haven't seen any pulsing or focus breathing when on the S5, But without a doubt, this is probably one of the better telephoto zooms I've used in a while, when it plays nice. But enough words, and let me show you some of the images I've taken with this setup. So there you go, the Sigma 150-600 f5 to 6.3 sports telephoto zoom lens. A wonderful telephoto lens option that delivers beautifully crisp and vibrant imagery with a few little quirks along the way. I would recommend this lens, especially if you are an L-mount shooter. Thanks for watching and don't forget to subscribe. Still interested in telephoto zoom lenses? Maybe try this Nikon 200-500 review on for size. Or if you are of the Micro Four Thirds persuasion, here is the Olympus 40-150. Cheers!